Welcome back to the We Can Beat Up Anyone Anytime podcast. Just kidding, that's a joke. This is the Misyk And Maat Sports Talk podcast, and it's only me today, only Ethan, and we're going to talk about one thing and one thing only. Maybe we'll get to more stuff, but it's just a solo episode, so it's going to be a little shorter today. We're going to talk about the Anaheim Ducks, Trevor Zegras, Arizona Coyotes situation, what happened a few nights ago. So, obviously, Cody's not going to be here today. So it won't be a super long episode. You're only going to get one episode this week because I'm going to Vancouver tomorrow. I'm going to be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You might be listening to this Thursday. Maybe I'll produce it in Vancouver. That would be fun. No, but you're only going to get one episode, which kind of sucks because in the 3 weeks, we've promised 2 episodes. We're only going to get 1 week with 2 episodes, but it will be back. We will be more on schedule. It is a very busy time. School's wrapping up. Once summer gets back into action, we'll be here. And you guys will get as many episodes as we can because I love producing content, and it should be tons of fun. To paint a picture for you guys, I just want to set the scene. So you are Arizona and Anaheim, 2 bottom-feeding teams that aren't playing for anything because these teams suck. Anaheim's a little bit better. I believe going into the whole game, I think they lost. I think it was 5 in a row. Arizona loses every game, so I don't know what their losing streak was because Arizona sucks and they have a bunch of bad players. But to set the scene, Trevor Zegras, who's by far one of the most talented and how do I say, skillful, that's kind of just talented again, but one of the most exciting players in the entire NHL. He's pulled off a whole lot of crazy shit. Obviously, the fake Michigan pass to Sonny Milano. He scored a Michigan, I believe, in Montreal, and he scored another one against Arizona. So you got to believe that Arizona was probably already a little pissed that they got someone who can't do shit that he can do. Like, it's got to be a shitty feeling knowing that your team sucks. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect Arizona, but it's been a long season for them. They haven't won very many games. They never win very many games. Arizona is a very poor run hockey team. And Trevor Zegras pulls off a spectacular move, his second Michigan of the year, and they don't like that very much. So later in the game, I think there's 5 minutes left. Anaheim's up 5-0. There's play in front of the net, and Trevor Zegras pokes at a puck and gets cross-checked down to the ice, which I feel like in the NHL is a pretty normal situation. Like, I feel like scrums like that happen 10 times a game minimum, and Troy Terry comes in, and usually shit doesn't get out of hand that fast. Like, I feel like Troy Terry came in just to grab the guy, hold him, and I don't think he was expecting to get his face punched in multiple times, even when he never even dropped his gloves once. The guy who filled him in was Jay Beagle. But Troy Terry goes to grab him, and then Jay Beagle just starts swinging. And I'm sure everyone's seen the clip by now, so I'm not going to go into insane detail because I'm pretty sure everyone has already seen the clip. The problem that most people have with it is from Coyotes play-by-play guy Tyson Nash, who's also a former NHL player, Marley legend. I know that for sure. He played for the Marlies for 54 games. To paint the picture, to set it up from Tyson Nash's perspective, he's a former NHL player, and he played 374 games. And to put this into context, he only scored 64 points and had 673 penalty minutes. He had 150 in 99-2000. So that's the perspective this guy's coming from. He's coming from a time where people just beat each other up for nothing. So I understand what he's saying, but in this day and age, you can't just assault people. I don't know if that's news to people, but you can't just go out and beat anyone up. And it's stupid that Troy Terry had to take the brunt end of hockey players feeling like they can assault people. What Tyson Nash said on the broadcast was, that's the problem sometimes with these young players. You want to embarrass guys, you want to skill it up, then you better be prepared to get punched in the mouth. First off, no, you shouldn't be prepared to just get punched in the mouth because that's not legal. It's not legal in the game of hockey either. I know a lot of people are like, oh no, fighting is legal. No, that's why there's a penalty for it. You get 5 minutes for fighting. The guy who beat up Troy Terry while he was on the ice without his gloves off was Jay Beagle. And no disrespect at all to Jay Beagle, but at his best in his NHL career, he was a mediocre bottom six player. Jay Beagle hasn't scored more than 10 goals in a season since 2016-17, and he's only done it 2 times in his career. Jay Beagle is a shitty player in the NHL, and it's ridiculous that this league continues to condone their stars getting beat up because the stars are what drives revenue, they're what sells tickets, they are the game, they're what creates fans. No disrespect to Jay Beagle. Nobody's going to a game to watch him. And that's fine. He's still better than 99% of hockey players in the entire world. But in this day and age, Jay Beagle is not an NHL player. Jay Beagle sucks. He's a shitty player, and he only has 1 goal and 0 assists this season. Jay Beagle is not an NHL caliber player, and it's ridiculous that one of this league's stars, Troy Terry, I believe, has 30-plus goals. I think Trevor Zegras said he had 32, but I'm pretty sure it's 31. Not going to get hung up on the facts. He's one of the best players in the NHL. He's on pace to score close to 40 goals this season. And Jay Beagle, who scores 1, is allowed to beat up one of this league's young stars without any consequence. And until this league can figure out a way to protect its stars, and I can tell you a way to protect your stars, it's called disciplining players who are only there to be dirty rats and beat up your stars. Having Troy Terry out against the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid, which is what happened, by the way, is ridiculous. You want your league's best players to face head-to-head every night. And the fact that Jay Beagle gets off scot-free, and I understand he's not a dirty player over his career, but non-dirty players can do stupid shit and dirty shit, and they can still be punished. And the fact that Jay Beagle got nothing, not even a hearing from the NHLPA, it says a lot about where they are at. The player safety is run by, I don't know if everyone knows this, but it's George Peros. And if you don't know that name, good. He was a horrible player in the NHL, and he only beat the shit out of people. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why you have someone who is consistently the problem in the league be the voice of reason for suspending players. Of course, Jay Beagle's not going to get anything when George Peros is at the helm. That's what he does. That's what he did as a player, was dirty, stupid shit. And the fact that there was nothing is embarrassing for the league, and they have to give themselves a long look in the mirror. And you have to think about, is what we're doing now good for the game? And I'll tell you right now, it isn't. Because until the moment that they start protecting their stars, this league is going to be a shit show, and like I said a couple solo episodes ago, they're never going to be on the same level as the NBA and NFL. The NFL implemented a rule where it protects their quarterbacks, and a lot of people think it's stupid, but you can't lie, the game is better. The stars are playing, and that's what sells tickets, that's what drives fan bases, that's what it is. Nobody cares about Jay Beagle, and that's not on a personal level. It's on a hockey level. I don't care about how Jay Beagle and Louis Eriksson and Antoine Roussel do on the Arizona Coyotes. I want to watch Troy Terry tear up this league. Troy Terry up this league, you might say. And it's ridiculous that this is overlooked. Trevor Zegras interviewed after the game, and he said, quote, "That's a nonsense cross-check," which it was. I'm embarrassed for who that was, because he doesn't want to name Jay Beagle by name, and why should he? Jay Beagle's a horrible player, and he shouldn't be in the NHL. Same with Keith Yandle. Well, that's a whole different story, and I know a lot of people are going to be shitting their pants over that, but we'll tease that for next episode. The league should do something about it, which they didn't. Here's my favorite quote. It's embarrassing. It's a bad look for the league and for the player who did it. It's humiliating. They should be fucking punished. Guess what? He wasn't. The NHL didn't do a single thing about this, therefore condoning the hurting of their stars. It doesn't make any sense to me that players who suck and are marginally replaceable in any sense. You can't tell me that a player right now, you can't tell me that the leading point getter in the AHL can't play Jay Beagle's shit in the NHL. It doesn't make any sense that players like that are being protected under the NHLPA and player safety, but stars like Connor McDavid, Troy Terry, Austin Matthews, you name the list, they don't care about their stars. The NHL's never cared about their stars. And it doesn't make any sense that this doesn't lead to anything. For once, I feel like you can't blame the refs because they assessed game misconducts and penalties to that. But then in situations where you can't blame the refs, guess what? Player safety's no better. They don't do anything about it. They've never done anything to protect their stars. And it doesn't make sense. I really want to know why, quote, skilling it up is it's frowned upon by the shitty bottom six grinders, but the players who injure stars are celebrated, and there's nothing ever done to fix that. And until the NHL can fix that, they're always going to be a shit show of a league. Tyson Nash went on a podcast hosted by Craig Morgan, who's an Arizona Coyotes reporter, to clear up his comments. And when he cleared up his comments, he just doubled down, which is really funny to me that you can see the outlash from what he said and what happened. And he decided to not only double down, but to continue to pile on Troy Terry and Trevor Zegras. He said, one of my favorite quotes is near the start. He said, "I wish I didn't say skill it up. I wish I would have said hot dogging instead, because hot dogging and skill it up aren't the same thing." His opinion never changed, and it's never going to change. The old boys club runs that shit. And until someone new comes in, the NHL is going to be a bunch of old men with the same opinion on you can just beat anyone up. And me saying this isn't condoning taking out fighting and stuff like that, even though that's the way the league is trending. And hey, guess what? You're going to have to get on board with it. And before I finish my point, people who say, if fighting's out of the league, I'm not watching. Okay, you won't be missed. And I won't lie. I feel like everyone's has seen someone get in a fight in hockey and you've got fired up. I'm no different. But that's just the way the league is trending. And I'm not saying that to make people angry. That's just the truth. Honestly, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why the NHL refuses to protect their stars, but that's just how it goes. Because for a long time in the NHL, people were allowed to just assault each other, beat each other up, and you can see lawsuits coming into the NHL about CTE and how they never protected their players. Guess what? Nothing's changed. They still don't protect their players. That's wrong. They protect the players who aren't valuable to the league. And that sounds really harsh on players like Jay Beagle, because I'm not only dissing Jay. He's just the only player I'm talking about right now. That's just how it is. They don't protect their stars, and they protect players who are objectively not good in the NHL. Not to say that he didn't deserve his Stanley Cup, but he definitely didn't deserve that contract with Vancouver, and he definitely does not deserve to play. If he wasn't making that the money that I'll restart. If he wasn't being paid the contract that he signed in Vancouver, he would not play. Same with Louis Eriksson. Probably same with Antoine Roussel. And that's not to disrespect Jay Beagle. That's me saying there are better players, and you're only here because you signed a fat deal with a shitty GM. That's the only reason you play, Jay. So let's chill out a bit. You're fighting for, what, third last place? You're going to lose that game. You're probably going to lose the draft lottery, too. So let's chill out, Jay. Let's not pound on people because they can do shit you've never been able to do. Tyson Nash, this one's dedicated to you, too. You, as I mentioned earlier, were never a very great player in the NHL. That's not to say that you're not a great hockey player, because anyone who skates a shift in the NHL way better than every single person on Twitter. But Tyson Nash, I'll go through his stats again. Career 27 goals, 37 assists, 64 career points, and 673 career penalty minutes. I'm going to pull up Troy Terry because I want to see his career stats. Here it is. Okay. In 193 games, Troy Terry has 46 goals and 59 assists for 105 points, compared to Tyson Nash's 27, 37, and 64. This season, Troy Terry has 7 less points this season than Tyson Nash scored in his entire career. These are two different players, and Tyson's coming from a point of playing in the early 2000s where you could just assault each other. And it's a bad take. I'm not going to defend it. It's a horrible take, and I think Troy Terry's better than Tyson Nash has ever been or will ever be. And it's a shame that he's the one who took the downfall because the Arizona Coyotes aren't as good as other teams, and hockey players have hurt egos, I guess. Like, I'm not trying to say this to pile on Arizona for sucking. I'm saying this because it doesn't make sense why hockey players are so fragile. Does that make sense? Hockey players might be the most mentally fragile people in the entire world. They Trevor Zegras scores a cool lacrosse goal on you, and this is how you react? How about you suck it up and just admit that you had cool shit done on you? And for a league where the mantra of players is they're rough, they're tough, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense why they can't handle someone doing cool shit with the sport they love. And from a fan's perspective, if you support Jay Beagle and Tyson Nash's opinion, good for you. We all disagree with you, but good for you. Just if you want to make that argument that's okay and that's just how the league is, then you're not worth arguing with. That's not me being a dick, but there's no point in actually taking the time to argue with people who are stupid. Jay Beagle sucks. The Arizona Coyotes suck. Troy Terry, great player. Tyson Nash, he's no better in his prime than Jay Beagle is now. So that's the reason he doesn't agree with skilling it up, because he's never had the skill to skill it up. And that's okay. Not everyone can. I certainly can't. But the NHL needs to start coming forward and protecting their stars, because the minute that they start doing that, then I'll start recognizing the NHL as a properly run and good league. The NBA does it correctly. The NFL is doing it correctly. A few episodes, solo episode, I mentioned the MLB. That's a different story. Rob Manfred is not an amazing commissioner, but the NHL, very poorly run. Let's get someone else in charge of player safety, especially because the inconsistency and the ridiculousness of what they do, it doesn't make sense, because I don't know what they do, actually. They don't do anything. They are not consistent. The NHL player safety sucks. I'm a Leaf fan, so this is going to sound biased, but a couple games ago against... Who did they play? They played Winnipeg. I don't remember who it was, but Michael Bunting took a cross check to the head. And that resulted in nothing. Nobody talked about it even. And there was no hearing. There was no fine. There was no suspension. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about how the cross check on Michael Bunting and the cross check that Austin Matthews laid on Rasmus Dahlin was the same, because one was a lot more aggressive. But let's have a little consistency. You don't even mention it? Come on, NHLPA. It's ridiculous that as fans, we have to try and figure out this game. And I've been a hockey fan my entire life. And I'll tell you right now, I have no fucking idea how this league is run. And I've been studying this shit for years. And it doesn't make any sense to me, because it doesn't make sense to them. They don't know what they're doing. Nobody in the NHL has a clue on how to run a league. And I'm not saying it's an easy job. I don't think I could do it at first. But hey, let's get some new people in there that actually might have some brighter ideas and a little consistency. Come on, George. You know you're better than that. Gary, you too. I don't know what else to say about this. It's hard to discuss this topic alone. It sucks that Cody couldn't make it. Because this is huge. I want to talk about this, but that's kind of how I feel. I want to know how you guys feel. I know this is a shorter episode. This is our shortest episode ever. It's gonna be about just over 20 minutes. This is just a little content snippet. I apologize that this is not a full episode, but we will be back next week with hopefully 2 full episodes for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this little, whatever this was. This is not a full podcast, but it still is a fun little 20-plus minute episode. I just wanted to discuss this, and I wanted to get you guys something, and I didn't want to leave you guys with a whole week without nothing. So I hope you enjoyed. This is technically episode 26. I'm Ethan Maat. Follow me on Instagram, Ethan Maat, ETHANMAAT. My Twitter is the exact same. Follow the Misyk and Maat Sports Talk. We are Misyk and Maat Sports Talk on Twitter. Sorry, not Twitter. Instagram, TikTok, and hopefully Twitter one day. See you guys.